Hey, welcome back to Spray River Homestead for another day here on the homestead. So, we haven't posted a lot up, but today we're going to kind of walk around and do chores. And the reason was, Nikki was gone for a week. So, I homesteaded alone. And you know, I have what I consider a full-time job, even if I do work from home, but I did have a lot of stuff going on with my car stuff, my other writing gigs, everything else. So when Nikki is gone, it is a lot of work from dawn till dusk, plus to make everything going. So we're going to walk around today, kind of show you what we've been up to, some of our projects, and to see what I did and did not do well enough that is really, really hard for one person to do. So here we go.
So as you can see, everything in the greenhouse is really kind of getting going. Lettuce is up, which wasn't up last time. Sunflower seeds are going, or sunflowers. Had some problems with the kale and some of the cabbages and the Romanesco broccoli when I was out of town. It got all the way down to like 17, 18 degrees. And this greenhouse is great most of the time. And if we'd have had the covers on some of this stuff, even at those cold temperatures, it probably would have been fine. But not what happened, so I lost some of it. Not a big deal, because some of the things that died were things like kale that I can just restart from seeds. I did bring some of the tomatoes out yesterday. They're just not growing in the house for nothing, so I went ahead and separated them out and potted them. So we'll see if they make it. They made it overnight in here just fine. My Brussels sprouts finally came up, so really excited about that. Don't know that they'll get big enough to actually do anything, of course, but they're at least up. The lettuce is looking great. I bought some hula berries to try something new. I did end up losing most of the cauliflower and broccoli, which is a major bummer, especially since I couldn't find any in the store this last week when I looked. On top of that, we already have dandelions starting to dry for the rabbits for the winter. For the winter. The tard's still doing okay. Some of those didn't get watered and they got fried. And then, of course, plants are at the store. So I did buy some stuff, some tomatoes. Peppers, since most of my peppers in the house aren't looking so hot. I got aphids, which is kind of odd. And then I've got some extra strawberries and things to add to a new bed. And a couple new blackberries. So that's pretty much all that's going on in the greenhouse so far. Oh, and I have some acorn squash. A couple of them died off due to the cold, but we're getting there. It's still going to be probably close to a month before we're able to plant outside, but we're getting closer to being able to put at least out in the other greenhouses. So on the rabbit front, I am officially done with my show season for the spring. We won't show again until probably September this fall. So we went out to nationals. We drove all the way out to Franklin, Indiana, myself and a girlfriend that lives here in town. And it was the All Harlequin National Show. So we showed 4 times over the weekend. We had the national show on Saturday, which was the longest show of my life. We actually set some records for Harlequin attendance, and there was over 180. I still haven't seen the official final count on it. So the show took about, I think they said it took us about 6.5, 7 hours for one show. We also had a specialty show that evening, and then we had 2 open shows on Sunday. Really, really, really beautiful animals in attendance. We did better than I had hoped. I was only shooting for top 10, and of the 6 rabbits I was showing in the national show, 5 went top 10. 3 actually went top 3, and this guy actually won his class. This is SRP, the Art of Resistance, who we call Stan. Stan actually won his class, senior magpie bucks, and there was about somewhere between 25 and 30 was my understanding. So a really nice big class of animals. So he ended up actually best opposite sex of the magpie group, which means he took 2nd place in magpies to I want to say it was a junior doe. Really nice doe. The Japanese did end up winning. So basically how it works out for Stan is top 4 out of over 180 animals shown, and the 2nd place buck overall of all of those animals. So real pleased with how he did. Now my little Japanese that I've been showing all spring, that won at West Coast Classic, they both were top 3, both 3rd place in each their class. So did real well. Hansel, the one little Japanese buck, actually won, I want to say it was the last show on Sunday. So we did pretty well. We won some of our classes here and there, but really, really fun times. Now on the way home, so I dropped off a bunch of rabbits, sent a bunch of rabbits off to like Wisconsin. Trying to remember where else they went, but I took like 6 rabbits that didn't come home with me. I did bring 2 more home. I got a lovely little magpie doe from Jill Neiman in Wisconsin, and then I got a little buck out of some folks in Kansas. So we've got them, and on the way home, after a beautiful drive out, on the way back, we got into Nebraska and ran into some weather, and it was actually starting to snow, so we stopped in North Platte. Got up the next morning, and I-80 was closed, heading west of Cheyenne, Wyoming. So we barely made it into Cheyenne, lots of fog, a lot of excitement. We ended up having to go north and then tracking back west, kind of coming in between Laramie and Rock Springs and kind of taking back ways all the way. By the time we got to Rock Springs, at least I-80 was back open, but that didn't stop our weather adventure by any stretch. We ran into more snow and more rain and sleet, more fog. So we ended up, I think it took us an extra 4 hours almost by the time it was all said and done. Lots of weather driving in a truck or a vehicle I'm not used to, my girlfriend's minivan. But we made it. So we are all done with our show season. Now we are breeding like mad for convention. Right now I have 11 Harlequin does bred, 2 Triantas, and I've got a couple of Americans to get bred. So lots going on around here on the rabbit front.
So now, since Nikki mentioned her shows were ending and mine were picking up, kind of just touch real quick. So this is what I have on my car channel if you've ever gone and looked. So this is a wide body Mustang I built. It took me about 3 years, but this is what I'm showing. So it's wide body, vinyl wrapped. It's kind of hard to go into all the stuff, but and then if you, I don't know if it's in the picture or not, the gray one right here in front. I just put a windshield in this yesterday, and this is a current one I'm rebuilding. So this is my show car. The green one here, the vinyl wrapped one, is the show. That one's going to be a restoration and then eventually sold when it's done. But this is how I spend my time. So when she's showing rabbits, my passion is showing cars and building cars. So, ta-da! There it is.
So as you can see behind me, the garden has gone crazy. When I left, nothing was coming up, just a little bit of rhubarb. Nothing else was doing anything when I left. I'm gone a week and I come back, and beds that had just a couple of weeds are now completely full of grass. So you can kind of see, hopefully, these front couple of beds. I have gotten these cleaned. I've gotten some of the asparagus bed cleaned. I've got my chive beds cleaned. I've got a few things that I've got done so far. So behind. Got to get my potato beds cleaned and planted out this week, hopefully. But you can see that spring sprang while I was gone big time, and so now I'm hustling to get all of this cleaned up so I can start getting stuff planted. So you might remember that the wind unfortunately killed my last clothesline pretty epically. Bent it over. We cut it off trying to keep it going. Just wasn't having any luck. So Kaden has bought me a new clothesline. So we are once again not fighting the broken line to dry clothes around here.
So another thing we actually did, what, about a week ago?
Yeah.
Something about a week ago, was concluding burning season, which ended towards the end of April. That gave us this pasture all alone now to do. So we went and got a load of cattle panels. They had them on sale, so we went and grabbed 25 of those. We used 20, so a lot of them went to extending the range of the lady goats out. So now they have a nice pasture that was pretty overgrown, and through a few days of grazing, they've already done quite the number of cleaning this up. But they'll kill off all sagebrush, make it really hospitable for grass to grow, and then they will kind of terraform it and clean this all up into nice pasture. So this year the plan is to eventually put in the permanent fencing, but the cattle panels at least are modular, so you can kind of move them around. We also did the same with the boys' barn. We extended out 2 different pastures, so we could move one of the older bucks in with his dad, so now they're in their own separate one. And then we took 2 of the smaller, the little mini Nigerians, they're like the micro goat kind of deal. They're in with the kinder, we call Miles. So they have 2 in one, and a pasture right next to them is 3 of the smaller ones. They're doing great. And then we have some more that we will do later on. We did also extend the yard for the dog and the llama in the back of the property, so now they have at least double, if not more, yard to run around in, plus fresh grass for the llama to eat, and the dog can dig plenty of new holes.
So we're down in our lower pasture, our back area that we use for our hay field, and you can kind of see behind us just how green that is. And it's running still about an inch and a half of water down through the middle part of it. Unfortunately, we're probably not going to get any hay this year because our neighbors will not keep their horses off of our property. So we started putting in a fence line between us and them about 2 years ago, and as soon as we stopped, we left 18 feet because they didn't want us to put barbed wire up. We weren't going to pay for netting, so they said, put it at 18, we'll put our posts in the middle, and we'll run the netting fence. Great. About 3 weeks later, we come down, and he has put hot wire on our fence, and then basically threatened us that we weren't allowed to touch it. So it's been an ongoing thing for 2 years now. The horses will not stay on their property. There is what you can't see is absolute horse crap everywhere. Because it's wet and they're running on it, they are just destroying the entire field. We are probably going to have to go legal means at this point to stop it. It's going to cost me hundreds, if not thousands of dollars, basically, to get this back to where it should be, because the horses are absolutely destroying the entire field. And the neighbor tells us, too bad, not his problem. So they were supposed to be out of here. They were supposed to be out first thing in the spring. They were supposed to be out 2 weeks ago. They were supposed to be out last week, and we just ran into the horses who have hightailed it into the trees to get away from us, and it's just been an ongoing problem.
Yeah. So basically what he's doing right now is he had started with putting 1-inch hot wire tape on there that actually had a charger on when it first was on there. I don't know how long it lasted, but it's not there. And at this point, it's kind of in shambles. It's being held on with baling twine. I think if he was raising beef jerky, he'd still have trouble with it actually going through the fence, because it doesn't keep anything in. I mean, it doesn't keep anything in at all. It's sad. It's sad that a horse owner can't even manage to take care of his own stuff. So.
And let this be a lesson to everybody. I mean, neighbors are so important. When we moved in here, it was just me. And about the time right after Kanan got here is when these people showed up. And it has been nothing but ongoing problems since. We have given them an easement to get to their property. Actually, we moved a pre-existing easement to make things easier for them. And they have continuously destroyed our property, threatened us. Yeah, it's been an ongoing problem. We were trying to kind of cool our heels a little bit because they were supposed to be leaving, but it doesn't look like there is any intention at this point of actually leaving here. So unfortunately, it's going to be a call into the sheriff's department and probably contacting a lawyer at this point.
Yep, it's unfortunate means. I got to take all that hay money and fence money. Now I'm going to put it into legal fees because I'm about to get a little ugly.
So keep that in mind. Always check on your neighbors, and yeah, don't ever trust anybody at their word. Unfortunately, that doesn't count for much anymore.
Yeah. So that's kind of it. That's where we were going on. So we went through all that stuff, and really the intention was to, you know, if somebody's out of town, could you homestead alone, or can you homestead alone? The honest truth is yes, but when you have a lot going on, especially like for me, job and everything else, It's a long process. It was a long, 7-8 days when Nikki was gone to Indiana, trying to keep her updated on what was going on. Plus, I was also back here fighting with the neighbors. I was having to take 3 times a day trying to chase their horses off our property to keep some part of a field going, and then it just becomes a full-time job where you almost have to sit back here and wait for the horses to show back up because they're off running. I don't even know where they are now at this point. They're on somebody else's property by now, probably.
Well, it's hard to say. We've still got a lot of land up there still.
So that's it, guys. Homesteading. Can you do it alone? The absolute answer is yes.
Can you do it well?
Not much died while she was gone, so.
But not much progress got made either.
And true, it was all maintenance. So that's it. You can do it. Get out there and do it. Just don't bite off more than you can chew. Don't do too much at a time. We've both said that before. Take it one step at a time, not 17 steps and big leaps. You can't do it. So with that, we're out for regular homestead. I got to go call the sheriff and a lawyer and everything else. So what's the answer?
Happy homesteading. May your neighbors be better than ours.
See you next time.
Bye.